Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We live, though. We starting to
And we
go
gotta
out to
shout
the
out all of our
airwaves,
missing.
baby.
Sir. On the podcast with it.
What's up, man? Woodward Pistons in the building. You know who we are. You know who we be. And we live.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
what we here for tonight, fellas?
Oh, we're here to talk some Detroit basketball, baby.
Yeah.
What else we here for, man?
There's a few things I want to get off my chest, but we'll get
people
to that.
talking about
You
this.
got a few things you said,
Few
yeah,
things.
people talking about this
bro.
NFL schedule coming out. That's cool and all. What about the lottery that's happening this upcoming Tuesday, though, Kool-Aid? What about that lottery that's coming up this Tuesday, Deuce? Let's talk about things that are actually happening on the horizon, man.
Right.
Hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hey, look. You know, hold on, man. Let me do this right. Let me Let me get the red, white, and blue hat. I had the teal ready to go.
Okay.
We got the red, white, and blue ready for the draft lottery show.
Dude, I wish I could pull out the teal, but with the green screen.
Yeah.
Hey, look, look, we got Lucky. He's rocking out the jersey. We got the Chauncey Billups jersey. We got the number one. We got the number one pick. This was the jersey that was worn. I don't know if I can fit it anymore, but I'm still gonna wear it.
Oh, heck yeah!
Gonna do that.
Carl, what's up, man?
Shout out to Detroit Drew. Hey, man, shout out to Detroit Drew. Hey, Mikey TikTok. He was out there.
I've never met Detroit.
Who else?
By the way,
Easy. Anthony Pistons talk. Joey. Man, I forgot who was on the boards, man. It was. I think Sawyer might have been on the boards. I forget, but it was a great night, yo. We're gonna try and recreate it. We got the Detroit Pistons banner.
Oh, we're gonna take it. We're gonna make it even better, man. We're gonna like now. I'm gonna be up in this.
We're getting there. We're getting there, bro. Don't steal my thunder, Lucky. Bro,
it's coming. Hold on,
bro. He trying to steal it. Hold on, man.
All right, hold on. Hey, I didn't say anything. I'm with you. What's up?
Hey, look. Here we go. And then the Holy Grail, the basketball.
Yes, sir.
And then the Holy Grail, Eric Vincent's in the building.
They've told us that we had to recreate it. Hey, look. Hey, sweet. So I'm glad. I was going to wear that one. I was like, you know what? Let's rock out here. Hey, we're going over all the things that we're going to have available. Draft party for the draft lottery show, man. All the stuff that got us the number one pick last time, we are ready to go.
Hey, man.
I was getting everybody hit. We are ready to go.
Ain't broke.
Kool-Aid, you ain't tell me you was coming buffed up today, bro. What is this? You went all out today, bro.
You know what I'm
saying? That. Look at you. We 5 days away. You going all the way in.
Yeah, you already know.
I'm pumped, man. I'm ready.
I like to think
I got the ball. I got Lucky. Oh, hold on.
I like to think me being in the building brings a different level of energy out of Kool-Aid. Like last week. Last week, y'all brought the house down. Y'all held it down. Y'all did great. But then when I'm back, it's like Kool-Aid's like, yeah, all right, yeah, we back.
We're going up to the nines. You already know,
I'm his English translator. I'm his hype
man.
Y'all
gotta understand. Y'all have to understand. Look, last year, that was like the first big thing that I had done with Woodward Sports, man. Like, yeah,
that's how I discovered Woodward Sports.
On socials, but that one, it was different. But this one around, it's like, yo, I know the fellas, we're bros. We're building these platforms. The community is really, really liking what we're doing and resonating. This time around, this was a celebration, man. This was a party. We're not going in nervous.
Oh, heck yeah.
This is about, like, who is going to come in and fit right next to K. Cunningham. So this one, get to rock out with Sean Murphy. Wait. Let me do it right. Let me do it justice.
All right.
Sean Murphy.
Well, yeah, he needs some reverb on there, but that was pretty much nailed it.
Yeah. Hey, I got you. Hey, you're gonna be hanging out with Sean Murphy.
There you go.
That's lit. I like that.
Yeah. That was a year and a half to me.
Shout out to all of us repping each area of the Pistons too with the hats too.
Dude,
we killed it.
I love it.
Dude, I was gonna say 3 of us are in the LCA right now.
We killed
all
it right
3
here.
different variants of the LCA. Yeah.
Hey.
That's right.
100%.
That's right.
Eric,
What's good, Deuce?
I like the hat.
Like he's in the mezzanine right now.
I'm hoping the rumors are true. If that teal is back next season, I'm acting a fool. Oh, I cannot
Bro,
wait if they get the big
I am getting out another credit. I will max out a credit card if I have to
Man.
to get my hand on
Go broke
all
for
the
that. Let's
teal
do
merch
it.
he'll make.
It's gonna be up. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say.
Oh, yeah.
man.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna need
Hey,
extra
now look,
sponsors
if the
on
till
this.
is back, just real quick, if the till is back, what current Pistons do you have to get that?
Kate
jersey?
Cunningham. It's I mean
Any
that's
Okay, I want Sadiq.
a Sadiq.
Sadiq,
I
I
will
think Beef's-
say that's what I was about to say. Beef
Yeah, go
stew
ahead.
or a Marvin Bagley teal jersey would
Yeah.
go hard. Right now, I'm wearing the Derrick Rose City Edition
Nice.
from a couple years ago. I thought these jerseys got like they were super ugly when we saw them leaked on Twitter, but then when we actually like saw them on the court, I was like, all right, these weren't half bad. You know what I mean? But like, here's what I will say: I'm excited for the teal to come back. We need some form of red in the rotation every year. If the gray's going away, red should replace it. In my opinion,
Yes.
red is a type of jersey that has been throughout every era of Pistons basketball, and it should be here in some fashion as an alternate at least every year. In my
Absolutely,
opinion.
that's an alternate. Yep.
Mhm.
That lightning bolt, whether it was for the old school, this current one that they just did, the lightning bolt always sets it off and takes it off to another light. So
Yeah,
that
bro.
has to be a part of it.
We talked
was a
about
good
that
touch.
earlier. I love how they're ever so slowly integrating the teal. They didn't come out full fledged this year. They gave you flashes here, there, even on the court, you would see it in spots. So now I think next year they're just kind of prepping our minds for it when it actually drops. I'm looking forward to it.
We ready. We get it ready. We get ready.
So I called out Big Sean. I was like, hey, Big Sean, other Detroit Big Sean here. Big fan. But what do I need to do to get these to be part of the jersey rotation again? These jerseys were so sick. Why is it getting smaller? But anyway, that's what she said. But anyway, these jerseys absolutely need to come back, man. They were one of my favorites in the history of Pistons throwbacks.
Oh yeah, I got a retro at Chauncey Billups with the number 1 with the lightning bolt. I'll never let that one go. That's in the Hall of Fame for my closet right there.
That's in a Hall of Fame of collections there.
Oh yeah.
First of all, welcome everyone that's coming into Woodward Pistons Table Talk. I just do want to say real quick, glad to be back. Thank you all for the support and for the love out there. Hope I didn't worry anybody. I deal, I'm very open that I deal with mental health stuff, and it's not like a cry for help. It's just, in my opinion, I'm an advocate for mental health and for people to take it seriously. So, so anytime sometimes you just need a night off. But hey, I'm glad I'm back with my boys.
He was like, Kool-Aid, I just need a night, man. I was like, bro, I get that.
Yeah, I was just like, hey, man, I hate to ask, but I just need a night. And, hey, that's okay, because the good news, you guys held it down. I appreciated the love and the shout out, but you guys killed it yourselves. And, hey, you know what? I knew I was excited to come back and that this was going to be a fun show, man. So I'm glad to see y'all. And, Eric, I'm glad you're here more often. Deuce, always a pleasure to see you, man. Kool-Aid.
Sure.
You exist? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I love you like a brother, man. But no,
glad you're back, man. I'm glad you had you back, bro.
But I just did real quick want to say, appreciate the love, all the support, a lot of people reaching out. Really appreciate it. But like I said, I just firmly believe in being open and transparent on that stuff. And that's just who I am. But, moving on to the good things and some positive stuff, let's talk some basketball before we dive deep into the Pistons, because there's a lot to talk about. The lottery right around the corner. We got to talk about the playoffs a little bit, man. These playoffs have been crazy. I sat there last night, and this is the second year in a row that I've watched Drew Holiday play in the playoffs, and my jaw was dropped.
Yes.
And it just in the defensive plays that this guy was making to close down the game, how he minimized Marcus Smart in those final 2 possessions. It wasn't only the block, but then it was the steal at the end of the game too. It was everything that he did.
Yeah.
Is Drew Holiday the best defensive player in basketball? Because I think he might be. And I don't think we're giving him the respect he deserves.
He definitely needs more discussion for sure.
Yeah, my answer is yes.
I think
yes. You can tell coming
very,
in.
very, very disruptive. Oh, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can tell coming into the series he relished. He had this series Mark.
Mm-hmm.
When they discovered who they're going to be playing in this round, Marcus Smart, defensive player of the year, because most people don't really give him the credit that he deserves when it comes to being a defensive stopper, a perimeter defender. He's one of the best, and he's been one of the best for a long time, but nobody ever mentions him. So I think he's proving that he's the best, not only player, but defensive player as well.
Oh, he is unreal, man. Just his on-ball ability, just the fact that he can guard multiple positions, just make you extremely uncomfortable, make your life a living hell on the defensive end. That's just what he does. And I mean, like people, obviously Giannis had an incredible finals last year, and Giannis is the best player in the world. Don't want to take any credit for him. But what people don't recognize is that what allows him and unleashes him to really go full out on the offensive end is that he has that level of anchor and perimeter defender on the defensive end. It allows Giannis to just roam on the defensive end and not have to guard one specific person. You literally just get this roaming 7-foot freak of nature that can block any shot out of the gym because you have this 6'2" guy who could guard literally anybody you need him to. It's unreal. And I still, the crazy thing is the series isn't over, guys. They play in Milwaukee tomorrow night. Boston very well could win that game. However, it's going to be a hell of a miracle if they do, because man,
I'm about to tell you, no, man, don't even play it like that. Who's going to win it?
Oh, it's going to be Milwaukee. 100%. I'm not.
It's kind of over, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean.
No. I was doing plenty of talking. I was just gonna say real quick. It just felt like the life of that team was sucked out, like right when that happened. Like with Marcus Smart standing there just like this, that felt like it was over.
Yeah. The magnitude of last night's pivotal game 5. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of just a little bit of Pistons Spurs. Game 5, 2005 finals.
Okay.
Right? Series was tied 2-2, remember? And we all felt like, we talked about it. We all felt like game 5 at home. Yeah, we got to get this one. Pistons, we got to get this one. We have to have this game. And so many of us remember that, knew that we were down 3-2 after that. We knew it wasn't impossible, but we knew it was going to be tough to win 2 straight against that team. So I think the Celtics are in a similar position. Last night was the game to get.
Yeah.
And I felt like whoever won that game was going to win that series. So with the momentum that the Bucks have right now, it's going to be tough.
I think the stat they aired at the end of the game was 84% of teams that win game 5 go on to win the series. So it really is a big deciding factor.
I did want to say something about Jrue Holiday, man. I did want to. That was a player that, as Pistons fans, we should be very, very, very familiar with. I don't know any over the last decade that didn't want Jrue Holiday here. And when he went to Milwaukee, personally, I was crushed.
Yeah,
I was hurt, bro. I thought that he could have made a difference on some of those Piston teams during that time. Like literally, we were matched up against him in the playoffs, and I'm sitting here like, yo, what if he was on the Pistons with Blake and Dre and those guys? He makes a difference. I'm not saying he's gonna make a crazy big old difference or anything like that to where they're gonna shoot up, but that guy's a gamer. And when you're talking about a defensive player that can completely shut down a perimeter, shut down a best player, not just slow them down, man. He's having spurts where it's just absolutely like, yo, this guy is the defensive player in the league. The best.
There's points where he's literally controlling the flow of the game.
He is.
It's insane.
Yep, he's very underrated in what he brings to this team, and he hasn't shot the best. I think he's shooting like 37% for this, like I think for the playoffs in general, and he's even shooting worse, I believe, in this series. But it's the timely plays. It's like that veteran experience that team has. That's what even without Chris Middleton and as well as Giannis is playing, you give guys like the Jrue Holidays, the Bobby Portis's, you give them that credit and that advantage of, we've been here before, our backs against the wall. We might be shorthanded, but, we're comfortable in this environment. So they're showing their will right now as the defending champs.
I agree, bro. I feel like, how a lot of times with our Pistons teams, we would have guys playing out of their scope, above their head. I feel like Milwaukee has a lot of guys who are very talented who are playing a little below their head. And that's why it's so easy for them to step in when the Chris Middleton goes out, to step right into that role and play a major factor, because they have a very talented team. You just don't see it because of the dominance of Giannis and then the 1-2 punch of him in Middleton all the time.
Yeah.
I think we see it, actually. Their foundation has always been, to me, the same foundation as the Pistons. You remember Milwaukee's been poaching Pistons front office talent for a while.
Yeah.
And they've just been executing it better. They left and said, you know what? We do want Chris Middleton. Bring him right on over here. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that we've seen them do. They knew exactly what to do in that trade with Brandon Jennings as well. You know, and you know, when I look at this team, when I look at the way that they win, I know a lot of people have compared the Raptors team that won the championship to the Pistons just because, you know, they didn't have like what they didn't have like what a bona fide superstar on their squad or what they say it was. It was something that they were talking about. They were more of like a team oriented squad rather than like a superstar driven squad. You know what I mean?
Right.
When I see this Milwaukee team, I know what we say about Giannis, but he just kind of has that same persona as Chauncey and Rip and those guys. Like, yo, I'm here to do my work for this team. And I see that throughout all of these players. And, you know, to Deuce's point, I don't know if it's necessarily them playing under, but them buying into the system to play the right way. And I see Milwaukee doing that type of stuff, man.
I also think they're a team that just doesn't do it. Like, they don't have to do it throughout the regular season as much anymore. They can show up, you know, like around playoff time. Like this team was hardly healthy and was hardly together all year. Yeah. You know, they started out with all the COVID stuff, and then like kind of like the second half of the year as the season went on, they just started kind of like, you know, like getting down to business a little bit more, like really trying, like really getting things figured out. But now that it's postseason time, you know, this is where having a guy like Drew Holiday pays dividends. Absolutely. This is where guys like Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen pay their dividends. They just have a ton of guys that grind out games, make it difficult, play with a ton of effort, and it all starts from the backbone and from their star player Giannis. You know, it's all ingrained throughout their franchise. That's just, they have a ton of guys like that. And then when you add on stars and you add on like guys like Drew Holiday, like that, like when that move went down, I remember even being skeptical. I was like, I don't know if he's a piece that could affect winning or like make the difference between a championship. Oh no, I was wrong. If the Milwaukee Bucks didn't have Drew Holiday, that Suns series would have been done in 4 or 5.
Yep. Yeah, and you see it. I like how chippy the series is too. Like I like seeing Giannis dunk on Al Horford, him shake his head and come out. Okay, I got something for you. Hold that. Don't worry. Like I hated that the refs had to tee Giannis up for dunking on him and staring at him after. But I think that's something that's really developing. That's been missing in the NBA. Yeah, rivalries. This is developing right now between Boston and Milwaukee. Even looking at the West, you got it with Golden State and Memphis. You know, you see John chirping from the bench and mocking Steph. Dallas and Phoenix, Book and Luka don't like each other. They trash talking every other play. I think it's made this series, this whole round, that much more entertaining. I love it.
And then really the grind that's been too. I mean, they don't like each other either.
It's something about watch. It's one thing to watch teams play who have already had a rivalry in place. It's another thing to watch it develop right before your eyes. That's what we're seeing in a lot of playoff series right now. It's super cool.
Yep. And you know what team really impresses me that I think continues to go under the radar? Like, it's almost like they get their props in a certain sense, but whenever you hear these types of kind of table talks, round tables, or whatever go on, Miami, for whatever reason, seems to always go untalked about. And I saw them put the smack down on Philly the other day. Like, I was like, you know what, let me sit down and really watch this, because they're a team that I don't know. I'm like, okay, they're a good team. Then I'll wake up and I'm like, yo, they're in first. You know, what was Jimmy Butler doing all year? You know, I didn't even know. Was he like putting up 30 points? No, he wasn't like classic Jimmy.
He turns into a top 10 player in the playoffs for some reason. I don't know what it is, but he split that switch on and he just turns into a different dude in the postseason.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, because some people were starting to talk about him during the season. Some people were saying, hey, he's getting old. He's not the same dog. He don't got the same bark. You heard other teams. You heard some people up in Minnesota chirping still about Jimmy Butler. Yeah. And then you just see him go out there, and that team takes up, bro. They absorb his aura.
Absolutely.
Jimmy Butler is one of those guys who, and Cade is like that too, where guys, they absorb and they can reflect that same aura. And that's what I see from that team. I think, you know, I know Udonis Haslem got a lot to do with that too.
So I think the reason why, and I want to be nice here, because the Miami Heat are really good. But I think the thing about it is I think they're one of the teams that are left. I think they're one of the teams that has one of the clearest ceilings as far as what they can achieve. Because as good as this Miami team is, are they beating the Milwaukee Bucks?
No.
Are they beating the Boston Celtics?
No, I don't.
I think they can get the Celtics.
I don't think they'll make it difficult.
They'll make
it tough. I think they'll push it to 6 or 7 games, but yeah, I wouldn't bet on them to win. No.
Right.
I think they can get the Celtics. I do. I believe that Jimmy Butler's a different animal. I think that Tyler Herro adds something else. You got a couple different punches there. Now, Boston's defense versus Miami's defense, that's going to be a clash.
Yeah,
and I believe the fact that they can slow it all the way down and muddy it up, that's exactly what Jimmy Butler wants. Now,
offensively,
that's what Milwaukee wants too. Milwaukee is going to win that if it's Milwaukee-Miami, but I think Miami could get the Celtics.
I just don't know how far you can. I just don't know how far you can get again. The one thing that Boston does have, even though they're both great defensive teams, they're going to cause fits and make problems for both sides. But the thing that Boston has is 2 superstar caliber players. Like with Miami, Jimmy Butler's a great player, but he's not even he can get a bucket, he can go score and get his own if he needs to. But like, can you rely on Tyler Herro deep in the playoffs to carry you in scoring and to be a significant offensive piece? I don't know. I mean, he can play.
You don't get to necessarily carry you in scoring. I believe that that's going to be in these playoffs, Jimmy Butler. You need Tyler Herro to just be Tyler Herro. You need those shooters to keep knocking down shots, and you need your bigs to continue to be tough in the paint, because that's where Boston is not that scary to me. They do got those 2, obviously
Robert
Tatum
Williams
and Brown. Mm-hmm. But you gotta Miami will punch you in the mouth and keep punching you in the mouth. That's how they play. I'm not saying that they're going to beat, Milwaukee, but in terms of the style of play they have, it is designed to go at the weaknesses of Boston. And Boston have to guard. Tatum and Brown are going to have to guard 2 highly dynamic offensive players in that series. And they're going to have to get another couple players as well on that perimeter. That makes it a little tough to be as efficient throughout a 7-game series as you want to be. Miami's perfect for those types of series. Muddy it up, murky it up, slow it down. A lot of fouls, for a lot of free throws. Get into the paint and bang. That's what they
playoff
do.
Basketball.
Yeah. But what Kyle Lowry are you getting in the Eastern Conference Finals? What? Just looking around this roster, like they're dealing with so much health issues. What day-to-day basis, what Duncan Robinson are you getting? That's the thing. Like there's like
but
Victor
you ask that
Oladipo
every year with Miami. That's why I'm saying this. Every year I feel like we do this, man. No, they're this or this or this. And then all of a sudden we see here like, why are they here in this position?
But but the other problem though is because on one hand, 2 years ago, they go to the finals, and then last year, same roster run it back. They get swept in the first round. So that's the thing is you certainly see that this team has a pretty high ceiling, but like I would also argue of the remaining teams left, I think they have the lowest floor too.
Well, they just brought in, we were talking about Drew Holiday, giving him his credit. That's what Kyle Lowry was supposed to be for Miami. He's been kind of spotty. He got hurt. I mean, he's a good defender like Drew Holiday, but he hasn't been as they've both been kind of up and down offensively, but that's what he was supposed to fill. But the guys you just named, Herro and Robinson, they've been either fluky or Robinson's barely playing at all.
Yeah,
that's a real man. I don't know what happened to him, but what Kool-Aid was saying was real important. Their identity is playoff basketball. They muddy it up. They can play defense. They're well coached, very well disciplined. So yeah, if they do, like I said, they'll push it to 6 or 7 games. We'll see how far they can take it.
Yeah, they're a team that's always going to be there. They're going to always be deep in the mix. Oh yeah. As far as what they'll do after that, who knows? But they're pretty solid year to year.
Because I'm looking at this box score right now in the third quarter. It's 58-50, fellas. Yeah. And you already know who's winning. If it's 58-50 with 9 minutes left in the third quarter, Miami's winning. It's not like I was looking at this while we were talking. They're doing exactly like I was saying. This is what they do. And you look at the offense on the other side. You look at the offense of Philly. This is not supposed to be happening. Tobias, you get paid too much money.
But they're also But yeah, they have terrible contracts. They have terrible contracts, but on top of that,
they're supposed to be good offensive players, though, is what I'm saying. That offense from Boston is going to have to be highly consistent, and they're going to have to not get worn down, stay out of foul trouble, because Miami does weird things like old Piston teams used to do. It's still Miami's identity because who's still running them? Who's still coaching them?
It's Pat Riley. It's Eric Spoelstra.
Who's still the coach, the player coach on the team?
Yeah, the culture is all the way. Yeah, they got championship pedigree for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the other thing though, Boston, I mean, offensively, they're still having a heck of attack. You're seeing guys like Al Horford coming back and playing the best basketball he's played in years. Man. Like since the last time he was on Boston, really. Like that's
shout out Grand Rapids. Shout out GR.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
No, you can show us some love. Go ahead, bro.
Shout out Grand
Rapids,
baby. There you go. My guy, we also got our guy D-Book too. That's our biggest brag for Grand Rapids. Yes. That's our biggest flex for sure. I mean, I guess I guess Floyd Mayweather, but I mean, we don't think he's also kind of a D-bag and he claims he's from Vegas, so it's all good. Comment. Yeah.
Yeah. Book is a good D-bag. I like his trash talk. I like his moxie. Floyd.
He also can't read. But anyway, all right, we got Jason Tatum. I mean, Jason Tatum, like he has evolved and like brought his like next level of his game.
Just go move past that, like
right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
shoot that spray off and just keep it moving.
Let me put these guys.
We just gonna let that go.
He did.
Let me get on here, man. Son is getting. He's bringing the heat.
But there was, I forgot who it was, but they were literally like, I will pay you $1 million to whatever charity you want to read Dr. Seuss live on stream.
50 Cent.
50
yeah, it was 50 Cent. That's right. Yep. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Okay. As long as, he can read the checks. You're not wrong. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, he has more money in his freaking car than I'll ever have in my entire life.
His accountant reads the checks. His accountant reads the checks.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
he makes so much money, he could be getting ripped off, and it's not even mattering right now.
Exactly. But with Tatum, I would argue he has evolved his offensive game and has become more of a playmaker. And the thing that I think what Boston does have that Miami doesn't, Miami needs all of their guys to show up and play well offensively and contribute to what they're doing. Whereas with the Celtics, if Jason Tatum's off, they have Jaylen Brown. They also have Marcus Smart. You know, they have star power on their team, and they have a lot of dependable guys. Now, Miami, don't get me wrong, they have guys that can go out there and grind on a game. I mean, they have, you're looking at the box score and what they're doing. Max Strus has 16 points. How Max Strus is doing all this, I have no idea. But I mean, but with that, that's the thing is like Miami, they don't win games in normal ways. To Kool-Aid's point, so if there's a team that can certainly grind it out, they definitely they deserve more respect than they're given. But in my opinion, I have a hard time seeing them go to the
finals. And honestly, they've been popping Philly though. They've been scoring and playing tough defense. And when you look at Boston, if they're not getting anything else from those secondary players, they're not winning. That's the thing. When you look at all the box scores, if it's just Tatum and Brown, they're not winning. They have to have Smart. They have to have Horford. And that's why I say Miami, they got the team, the recipe to go in there and just dirty things up. They're players, and this is why I love having Troy Weaver. They got those type of players that Troy Weaver would draft. Those type of players that when you put them in, hey, they're going to make some noise. Even the G League guys. You bring up DeMarco Pickett, he can go off for 10 points in a night. And so I noticed Miami, they have those types of guys. And I think it gives them a little bit of an edge because you can't really game plan for it. But to your point, when Boston is on, you look at that box score and you seeing 30 points from Tatum, 30 points from Brown, 20 points from Horford, 20 points from Smart, and then the bench got 30 points and they won like 120 to 80. So I'm not trying to diss Boston at all. I was just saying I do think Miami's one of those teams that they do some weird things every playoffs. Man. I don't get it.
Oh yeah, 100%. But that those are teams and that's talking about the future. Let's look a little bit more into the distant future. or a little bit more of the near future with lottery next week. Guys, we have a lot to talk about, man. The draft lottery's here. We are 5 days away. It's going to be on Woodward Sports. On behalf of Woodward Pistons, be sure to be checking it out. We're going to be live.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a heck of a time.
Can't wait.
You are not going to want to miss that stream. But guys, with that, we got to talk about what's going to happen here. I mean, this lottery, we could really go anywhere in this draft, right? The first thing we got to figure out, though, who do we want? Because there are so many great prospects around, but specifically, who's the best fit with this current Pistons team? Which draft player or which guy in the draft do you think fits best and complements Cade Cunningham the best?
Right. So
now,
go ahead, Sean.
No, Deuce. I want you to start. You're leading off. You got it.
I'll lead it off, bro.
We already touched on these subjects this week. I wanted to get you guys in, and get what you got to say, man. Definitely.
Yeah. So for me, the last thing that Sean said was the most important thing. What fits best with Cade Cunningham? So this team is being built around our centerpiece, right? So I'm looking at Jabari Smith, right? And Jabari Smith is someone who is a great three-point shooter, right? He shot 42%, I think it was, on nearly 4 or 5 attempts last season at Auburn. And guys, Cade, he averaged what, 5.5 assists last year?
Yep.
We all know that number should be 7.
He was by far first in most potential assists of any rookie.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly right. Yeah. So if those guys were knocking down open shots at a consistent clip, we already know. So Jabari Smith isn't just like, his strength isn't putting the ball on the floor and just going and getting his, like Paolo, for example, but his ability to pick and roll or pick and pop can create so much floor spacing and get guys like Sadiq, Livers, Jackson easier shots, along with whoever we potentially get in free agency. So that, along with what he brings on the defensive side of the ball, he's a versatile defender, can guard 1 through 4. He's long. He's got a 7'1" wingspan, and he's got this toughness and this fire about him that I just love. And that, to me, he fits like a shoe, in my opinion, next to Cade, and he fits with the mold of what I think Troy's trying to build here.
Yeah.
What about you, EV?
Yeah, I'm again, I like Jabari a lot as well. The big, not knock, but I mean, there's the big point about what he's good at is obviously the jump shot. To me, I think he is the highest ceiling of any prospect, because if he does learn and put some moves together that he can actually use with his dribble, then that's when we could actually have that real, because people keep saying Kevin Durant, and I hate it. But if that does get there, I could at the very worst see Brandon Ingram out of him. And that's a fantastic player to have. So I do like Jabari. For me, I'm still high on Paolo. I just think he gives everything that this team is missing right now. He has the ability to, play above the rim. He can grab rebounds. Like I said, the pick and roll potential is obviously through the roof with his athleticism and his size. A comp that I kind of have for him that I see, I kind of see like 2018 Blake Griffin when he was with the Pistons. Except he's not going to be able to give up on dunking. He'll actually still do that. So, he just offers too much, and he would take a lot of. I think he would set a lot of the Pistons up to be a lot more successful. Like the pick and roll game will give Sadiq Bey a lot more open shots. If we get another 2 that can shoot, I think that opens that up the floor a lot more. So, Paolo's at the top of my board. I need that pick and roll combo. It's got to happen.
Yeah, I picked Jabari Smith, but Sean, I want to hear your answer, man, before I ask a follow-up question.
Worthy answers and valid reasoning from you guys. I like it. However, the highest ceiling prospect in this draft class. Let me sit up for this
know where
one.
he's going.
Let's hear.
Because it's Chet Holmgren, man. And the thing about it is, you look at first of all, let's talk about the pick and roll potential of Cade Cunningham, a guy who shot over 40% from 3, 50% from the field, 70% inside the paint, 80% for the free throw line. This guy was an all-around stud in college. On top of that, you look at his defensive ability as well. First 2 games in the tournament had 11 blocks. 11! This guy can give everything you need for Cade, and I think what he has that Jabari doesn't have on the offensive end is some of that playmaking ability that Jabari's missing and might need to develop. Because the truth of the fact is, he has the ability to handle the ball. He has the ability to pass and move in the perimeter and play make from wherever he's at on the court. Now I'm hearing guys saying, good Lord, or no, Sean, sorry, he's never going to reach that potential. Man, I get he kind of looks like Darko Milicic, but if you're just letting his frame and his physical appearance get in the way of what he can actually be as a basketball player, I don't know what to tell you, man, because he's excelled at every single level he's been at. He's excelled and been dominant at every single level he's been at. So, in my opinion, I now here's the thing. I would love Paulo. I would love Jabari. I'm not going to complain with any of those players because I certainly see the argument for why Jabari and Paulo are both great fits with Cade, because all these guys fit great with Cade. But I think what I would argue is we haven't seen a prospect quite like Chet. And in my opinion, which duo has the highest ceiling? I have to go with the guy who I think is the highest ceiling. And I think the duo of Chet and Cade, if it hits, that can be dangerous, man.
Yeah, and what I want to do is this. Before we get into what would happen if we fall to 6 or 7, I want to ask this question. To Eric, to Deuce, with Chet Holmgren. This was a guy who he had a lot of hype. He had a lot of buzz. He had a lot of support. And then all of a sudden, it just seemed to be he's just kind of third on everybody's chart behind Jabari Smith and Paolo Banchero. I want to ask you guys, what does Chet need to do? What is it that you think he needs to be in the NBA that you don't think he is right now? You know what I'm saying? To be worthy of that number 1 pick. Because I was always Jabari Smith, but then Chet, man, it was a stretch of games where, like Sean said, I can see the offensive potential. It can be scary. But then Rod Beer asked me one question. He was like, bro, Andre Drummond on a good night, what's he getting? I was like, definitely a 2020. He was like 30 and 20. And I was like, ooh, that is scary. That is a little scary. But that offensive potential, when you said Blake Griffin for Paolo, I was like, well, it wasn't like Blake was playing defense either. So if Chet can be an extreme offensive talent, man, it gets me to thinking. And that's why I wanted to ask you guys, some other basketball minds, what is it that he would need to do or need to be to really garner being that number 1 pick?
You want to go, Deuce?
Aaron,
I'm ready. I'm ready. I just want it's up to you.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking about.
How you gonna ask him with a smile on your face? You ready?
Yeah, smile on his face. Right,
I'll give him
a
second. I'll give him a minute. Go ahead.
I mean, the size does worry me. That does worry me. It does bother me just a little bit. I did see him kind of get bullied a little bit in the NCAA tournament. You gotta understand, 30+ games in college is different from 82-game season in the NBA. That is a very, very big thing that gets overlooked. I mean, that's why you see a lot of rookies hitting the rookie wall. Because a lot of these guys are used to the season being over by the time we get to All-Star break. So I do think that his size is something that does bother me. If I knew that he was going to be a durable player for this team, 70+ games a year, I will reconsider if he would be that guy, because the talent is not lacking for anything.
Yep. I think, Sean, you made a really good point when I got on here the first time when you were talking about building the Pistons. You said everybody can't be a project. This man is the definition of that. To me, when you look at Paolo, when you look at Jabari, you're getting some for sure things. Chet, it feels like everything that we talk about with him is a project. Well, if he puts on weight, or if he can withstand, 82 games, or if he does this and if he does that, I mean, what do we know for sure? Even his position, like if he were to be a Piston, he would essentially have to be. He can't be the 5, but even if he would be a 4 that's skinny with a 5 that's short. Like that doesn't mix. Like I don't like that. So and again, I'm not doubting what he could be. I'm not doubting that at all. I do think the potential is there, but for what the Pistons are aiming for, and a lot of the teams at the top, they're looking to win with these picks sooner than later. So I don't think they're going to be as patient with a guy like Chet, and that's what I'm scared about with him. So I kind of agree with Deuce. If I see him withstand the pounding on defense, then like consistently, then I'll be on board. But he got to show me first.
Yeah, I get you on that, man. That's a really, really good point about, realizing that we're not really in that position anymore to get projects. We might not be ready to get that player to put us over the top, but if Chet needs the time to develop, he needs to go to a situation, or he would be better suited in a situation like that. If I know, Sean, you wanted to rebuttal?
Yeah, I was gonna say, first of all, you clever bastard for using my words against me. How dare you?
I'm a fan.
I know. No. I'm just
pro,
kidding.
man. Word to George Blaha.
I know. I listened to that, and I was just like, well, that's the one person I really can't argue against. But no, and that's why I concede that I'm okay with the idea of us going and getting Jabari at that first overall pick, or if we do go with him, I do understand why in that light, because like you said, if Troy Weaver wants that sure thing or something that and I think Jabari Smith Jr. of the three guys has the highest floor. I think he can come in right away because his game doesn't predicate on needing the ball in his hand so much.
Right.
He can come in and he can defend really well, and he could do so many different things. And when I say I like one candidate or one prospect, that doesn't mean I don't like the other two. So I definitely think from that standpoint, he can definitely he definitely might not be the best fit there. However, I think people don't realize what he can do in the league day one. He might not come in, he might have more to develop as far as like his size and his physique and figuring out where he's going to fit on an NBA court. But that doesn't mean he's coming in day one and not making an impact, right? It's just going to be, his impact is going to look different than others. I think he has a very similar, like he has like the big man version of Cade's game, where it's like super versatile and it looks like doing a lot of different things throughout the court. So, I think he's one of those guys where I think where he can end up being, I don't think he's like enough of a liability for that to be the reason we pass on him. However, I would concede that Jabari Smith might be, as far as even like if you're just trying to win now, he might be the most ready to go guy for sure. So
the top of this draft, it doesn't feel like last year's. Last year's we were kind of parsing, but we knew you have to get Cade.
Yes,
you have to get Cade. We were like, okay, we'll take some of these other players. Yeah, Jalen Green is cool, but we knew who the transformative player was, like that really, really impactful guy. This year,
I agree. Yeah,
I believe that Jabari Smith can have that type of an impact playing next to Cade. I do, and I've continue to sit back and wonder, is this one of those drafts where you have to go all in if you drop to 7? If you're talking about maximizing your window right now, if you're talking about potentially trading Jeremy Grant right now, do you maximize it and go get that guy that we all just said will be the best fit next to Cade? And so instead of even asking you guys if we do it, I'm going to ask you guys, what does that look like, man? If we drop to 7, do we pick, a Durham? Do we pick Shaedon Sharp? Do we pick, somebody else, a Keegan Murray? Or do you say, no, Jabari Smith is that guy. We have the assets. Let's go up and get Jabari Smith. Let's go up and get Chet Holmgren. Because the way you were preaching, Sean.
Now,
these
guys,
what would you do?
These guys are great. But if Detroit gets like, let's say they land, like you said, like the 7th pick, the sixth pick, somewhere in there. These guys are great players, and if Detroit can get in that position to where they can go get one of those guys, I'm all for it. However, I don't think this is the type of draft that you're begging to trade up to the top, because I think it is a deep draft class where you can get value wherever it is. I think Detroit can pivot. Like let's say we get a Keegan Murray. Let's say we get a Benedict Mathurin, a Shaedon Sharp, guys who are there. Now, what I will say, one scenario that could be realistic, you look at a team like Portland, they might land a potential top 3 pick, but they might be looking to, upgrade and get a guy like Jeremy Grant. Let's say we swap picks at that point and then do some other things. They get Jeremy, and they still get a pick in the first round, but then we get to go up to 2. There's ways you can maneuver it and go about it. But I believe wherever Detroit ends up, I believe they're going to stay put, because I think just like this, I think kind of like what we even talked about, we're going in, this is gravy, baby. Like last year, it was like, we need to get Cade, now, like whoever we get, they're going to be a part of the future, and if it's not that core number 1 piece, next summer's probably going to be the time when Papa Troy Weaver is going to pop the cork off this son of a gun and start going and trading and get some guys. So
I call it the Cade effect. I'm gonna continue to refer to it as that. Since Cade has gotten here, it's made everything else easier. Even tanking. Like, did anybody really care that this season didn't, put out a lot of wins? Think about it. If this was any of the other seasons in the last 10 years before, we would have been like, what the heck? But this season, it was just like, this is a beautiful, masterful tank job. Like, I could watch the season again. Literally, I could literally go and rewatch the season, look at Cade's, his highs, look at his lows, look at Sadiq Bey getting 51, look at Jeremy Grant balling out. This was a season that, could we have asked for anything better? Like, realistically?
I could have asked for less Trey Lyles centerman for a couple months.
Well, no, we needed that though.
Trey Lyles ISOs.
What do you think?
I mean, look, we went from this Sekou to Trey Lyles to Marvin Bagley. I just consider that progress throughout the whole season.
That's a hell of a win.
And if I'm one of these,
no, you go.
My bad, bro. No, I was just gonna say, if I'm one of these prospects, like, I'm looking at Detroit as one of the favorites because I mean we can't harp on this enough about how important Cade is, because like people were talking to me about guys like Paolo possibly being guys like Michael Beasley or like washing out. If he went to somewhere like Orlando where he has to be the man and shoot 20 shots in his first year, maybe that will happen. With Cade Cunningham, that's not gonna be the case. Right. He could be the second fiddle and know that. They're going to fit it comfortably with a guy like Cade. We cannot stress that enough. And even if we, like you said, if we have to get Benedict Mathurin or a Johnny Davis or anybody around that range, it's going to fit. It's going to make sense. And I trust Troy Weaver to make the right call.
Yeah, get Darko off of a farm in Serbia or wherever he's at. And Cade could get this guy 10 points in the modern NBA.
As long as he can drink during practice, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry, Darko. We got some Labatt's in the back.
We got you, big dog. Don't worry. Come on back.
Oh, man.
But it's comforting, though. You know why this is a deep draft? Do y'all know why? Because we have Troy Weaver. We keep saying it.
Right.
We have Troy Weaver. I feel like even though this is a deep draft, there's been other deep drafts, and we found ways. The GMs have found ways, not us. The GMs have found ways to really mess that up in the past, So now we're going into this one saying names just like we have in the past, and guess what? Those names wound up being the picks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the comforting part to know. Like, I don't think that it was all that much of a hard decision for them last year.
No.
I'm not saying that they were trying to disrespect Jalen Green or Evan Mobley or any of those guys, but I think that they knew who Cade Cunningham was. I think they knew that they were going to get with Cade Cunningham. He was a leader, and they said, "Look, when you have an opportunity to get a guy like that, you get him like that. Yes, what you do." And Rod said that's the reason why, and we all keep saying it. That's the reason why we can all sit back and say it's no biggie. This is the gravy train.
Honestly, go ahead, Sean.
No, Deuce, go ahead. I
was gonna say, honestly, this is one of the worst years in recent memory to have the first pick, because you can go any which direction you want. Of the top three, there is no guarantee as to who, because there isn't that guy. Cade isn't in this draft, as you mentioned. So we're good. We're chilling.
Yeah, let's be clear on that. To his point, there's not a guy in this class like people are like, Chet's like I saw someone say like, well, it just seems like it's a lot of ifs with Chet. It's ifs with everybody. 1 through 60, all these guys coming in, you know what they are coming in day one? Prospects, ifs, question marks, gambles, hopes, things that you want to pan out. That's what a draft is. I look at what the Lions did with the draft this past year. And there's things that I keep really hoping happen based off of that. You look at what the Lions did, right? Obviously trading up to get that wide receiver, Jameson Williams, but also with number 2 getting Aiden Hutchinson. I'm all for the idea of a draft where Troy Weaver says, we're going to go get Jabari Smith Jr. up at the top. Like, let's say they get there, and that's like the surefire thing. And then they trade and they do whatever they do, whether it be with Jeremy to Portland or whatever it is. I would love to see Detroit go in that top 10 and get Shaedon Sharpe. Like their game changer, their athlete, their dynamic scorer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to see Detroit, follow that thing where, first of all, we're making our own luck. Because it's like, everyone was like, oh, well, what about the Lions losing games? They're going to get the 32nd overall pick. It didn't mean a damn thing. Like, sorry, Neil Rule, but it didn't mean a damn thing at the end of it. I love Neil. But, it's like one of those things where you make your own luck and you're going to be aggressive wherever it is. And that's the thing I know with Troy Weaver is even like we look at that photo where he's smiling because he's like, we end up at the 7th overall pick. And I remember we were all devastated and bummed that night. It was like, man, are you kidding me? Like we just can't get luck. Well, Troy Weaver went and made his own luck because he ended up walking out that night with arguably 3 of the best players in that draft. So listen, man, it's one of those things where we're watching freaking Mr. Targaryen, Game of Thrones. He's ready to go do some brutal stuff, man.
And not just that, bro. If you remember in that draft, when we thought we were going to be picking 5 or higher, the player that everybody wanted was Cunningham.
Yep.
That was the player that we all wanted, or at least a lot of people during that time. Yeah. I know some people who were.
A lot of people did.
I didn't hear anybody talking about Halliburton. I didn't hear it. I was on socials. I didn't see it. I know that people want to have revisionist history, but I didn't see it. But it just to me, it speaks to a testament of it, man. I remember we were all like, oh my gosh, we dropped again. That's just so Detroit. And Troy Weaver cracked that little Mona Lisa smirk. And he got the player that most Pistons Twitter was saying that they wanted. And from that point forward, it's just been like, yo, I cannot wait to see what he does next. And he continues to say, we're going to stay aggressive. We're going to use everything that we have at our disposal. Everything. So when we see them do weird things like trade for a player making $1 million a year and then literally stretch their deal or waive them. Look, bro, it started to just make me dizzy last year trying to keep up with all of it. Hands, and then no cut, then this player, then no cut, then stretch, and this. And then all of a sudden, we just wind up with the team we have. And then at the end of the season, we wind up with Carson Edwards and Key. And this, I'm just like, oh, snap. We can't even armchair GM no more with Troy Weaver here, bro. It's just go do it. I'm watching. This is fun. We'll talk about the draft lottery, but Troy is going to do his own thing.
What's something that's crazy about last season, by the way, that I don't think we talk about enough? And I've brought up this statistic on these streams before, I believe. Guess how many different players suited up for the Pistons this past season?
Oh, goodness. How many?
27. Whew.
They had to be over 25.
It was a franchise record. 27. Obviously, a lot of it was COVID, stuff like that, trades.
Some hardship contracts,
bring guys up from the G League. But, like, the thing with Troy, like, he's more than willing to bring in whoever it is to help us get over the top. And, whether it's trying out Carson Edwards, whether it's trying out, these guys in the back or on the bottom of the program. Like the thing about it is that it's nice to see that there's actually top to bottom consistency and a program, something being developed. Like when the Grand Rapids Drive were around, I lived in town. I went to games. That was not a priority to the Pistons at all. It was pretty much there for like medical rehab assignment games.
Right.
But now it's in-house and it's so heavily prioritized, and it's something that's a big part of what they do and big part of their identity.
It's something I love seeing with that. I mean, we saw it, I think, at the end of the season, like Cade and Isaiah Livers like went and saw the playoffs and watched it together. Like you're seeing these young players like not just support and vibe with their own team, but the G League players, like the Grand Rapids players, like they're really building the cohesiveness the right way. And you want to see that with the young core. And it's like I was at the Tigers game last night. Like Beef Stew was in the suite with Bagley and Saban Lee, Garza. Like it was a beautiful thing, man. They doing this thing the right way for real, from top to bottom, like you said.
Yeah, I just hope they didn't pay much attention to that game because man. It wasn't a good one, but okay.
that brings us up to this topic, man. I think before we close, because we're talking about how they're building this thing the right way, and we know that the hot topic right now is Jeremy Grant. Now, if we talk about building the team the right way and the intrinsic aspects of it, you have to look at Jeremy Grant. Obviously, we know that Jeremy Grant, and I said this on the podcast for Rod Beard. You can find it on the Woodward Pistons YouTube. It was the last podcast. Jeremy Grant's a perfect asset. That was the perfect signing. Why? Because if you want to sign him to an extension, I'm telling you, people, he's playing like a $25 million a year player. His extension is going to pay him 28. He's only getting 20 right now. It is just an $8 million stretch. It doesn't affect the money that's coming off the books next year. He literally would take dead money that's on the books this year. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things. And I get what people say. But in my opinion, I believe that you need a player like a Jeremy Grant to be able to help in these parts, in these stages of the rebuild.
Can I also just spoil something? Jeremy Grant's a good player. Every single team in this league is looking at through these playoffs and looking at on their roster. They look at their roster and they go, we don't have enough guys like Jeremy Grant. Like literally teams, when they need more prolific, long, athletic wing defenders that can also shoot the three. Do you understand how much of a golden commodity that is in the modern NBA? Jeremy Grant is literally a diamond in the rough.
Yep.
And even he's the
look
perfect
what those guys
asset.
get paid.
Yeah.
They get paid more than $28.5 million a year. They do.
Yeah. And the thing is with Detroit, you're in a perfect situation. You literally can't lose because either you get to keep his services and get to have a guy who wants to be in Detroit, who likes being in Detroit, and came to Detroit and wants to help build this thing and fits our identity, fits our picture and what we're doing and everything. But if he goes, we get to bring in good talent in return, and we get to have a valuable trade package come back because there's plenty of teams that would want his services. So
it does do this though, trading Jeremy Grant, because he is the perfect asset. You know, he's a guy you can trade and he's going to bring back good. He's a guy you can keep on the team. He's going to bring back good. He's a guy who the extension is going to be great. That extension in 1 to 2 years, that could still bring back a lot of good young talent and future first-round draft picks. You lock him in at $28.5 million in 2 years, that man's gonna be making what, 15 to 17 million a year less than Tobias Harris.
Yeah,
that's huge. That is huge. That's what I'm saying.
Remember when Tobias walked out the door? We were all devastated. I'd much rather, and I love Tobias Harris. I love Tobias Harris. He's as a guy, love him. I would much rather sign Jeremy Grant's extension than have Tobias Harris's current contract.
I agree with that. No question. This is what I'm scared of, though. Again, I agree with everything you guys said. The fit in terms of this roster does scare me, though. I mean, we kind of hinted at it last time. Like they got a log jam with the 4 and the 5 with all the guys they have. And if you were playing Jeremy Grant at the small forward position, I'd be all for it. But for whatever reason, like they don't ever play Sadiq at the 2 and put Jeremy at the 3 because Jeremy's the stretch forward position in the NBA now is so important, and Jeremy doesn't give enough consistently of what they need at that position. They're not good at rebounding with him there. He's not a good defender at the rim. He was a pretty good 3-and-D guy in Denver, at least defending on the perimeter. So based on, and especially for what we keep talking about with these prospects, if you bring in Paolo or Jabari, it's not going to fit with Jeremy still there unless he does what I said, play the 3, put Sadiq at the 2, but they never put Deke at the 2. So, I like Jeremy Grant. But, I'm scared of the fit in that degree.
And I think that's where Tuesday is going to answer so many of our questions because that's just the thing.
Start to.
Absolutely, because I think if we're being realistic, if we're picking top 3, I think the odds of him getting moved may go up because they all play the same position that he's currently playing, power forward.
Yeah, but I think we're missing. I don't mean to cut you off. You can finish.
I was just going to say, but if we drop out of that top 3, now we're potentially looking at guards, potentially. So I think at that point, the odds will go up that he stays. So I think a lot just depends on what happens.
Yeah, and that's my thing. It's like with these guys, we just all sat here and said that there is no person in here that you have to give up to go get. Mm-hmm. That's not a guy that necessarily, even if we want that person to be second fiddle to Cade, that's not necessarily a guy that has to start, though that's a guy that could get a lot of playing time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I believe that the fit does work with Jeremy Grant because of the style of basketball that they do play. I think that there's a lot that Jeremy Grant has to continue to improve on. And the team needs to say, just like we can't say, well, Sadiq Bey was working on stuff. He was developing, so that's why his game was a little up and down. But we don't give the same to Jeremy Grant, who for the first time in his life is or was the number 1 option, then being told that literally the next year later through injuries and such, oh, well, let's try something different now. You know, it's going to take a little time, and we saw it. But we saw this team in their best wins. It was because Jeremy Grant was playing the role that we all say he needs to be able to play.
For sure.
And that's why I continue to tell people, go back. I'm going to say it almost every live stream until he's either traded or signs that extension. Look at those box scores, and you will see that there wasn't a hogging of the ball or, what they say, he's a black hole or he's this or he's that. It was more the Jeremy Grant that we kind of want to see, that we want to see if he's here long term to make that fit. And with positionless basketball, it's basically four out, 4 out, 3 out, pick and roll with the guard and the big. They can make it work. Casey said it. There's really no difference between Jeremy Grant and Sadiq with where they're going. There's no difference between Cunningham and Killian Hayes where they're going. So I can see it work. I think it's something that we really need to be thinking about, man. Jeremy Grant's a really good player.
I'm glad you said the point though about like him being like the ball hog and all. Because listen, man, those reports were garbage. Or at least how they were perceived, because it was like, like it was that he wanted to be the focal point of an offense. First of all, you could be a focal point of an offense and also not be the number one guy and take all of the shots. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could be an important part of the offense. And the other thing too, like just that this thing that Jeremy's all about the ego, all about his touches, wanting to get his. Why in the hell would listen, I understand Detroit would give him the touches, but like if he was an egotistical guy, like he could have literally gotten paid the same money to go play in Denver.
Easy.
Yeah, he literally could have gotten the same, but he came to Detroit because he wanted to build something here. And on top of that, the way that, like you said, the way that he played with Cade.
As long as he's giving me more than, he's been averaging less than 5 rebounds a game. Again, at that stretch 4 position, he's got to give you more than that.
I will agree. Rebounding is his biggest weakness. He's not active enough on the board. But
they need that.
I would say that's been like something that like even Isaiah, I think even Isaiah Stewart, he's got to be better on the boards too. There's nights and where like there's nights like towards the end of the season where he's gotten better, but like that's been one thing with Beef Stew is the consistency on the boards, because the one thing that really bit Detroit in the ass a lot of games wasn't really even like just like it was like allowing teams to get so many second chances. Yes. It was the fact that a lot of teams against us would crash the offensive glass, get second chances, and that's the thing is like. That's going to have to be, that's something that we need. And, like the difficult thing, Jeremy isn't always by the basket. You know what I mean? That's a difficult thing. He's out on the perimeter, he's guarding, and he's doing so many different things. So, like, I don't know if he can get all the blame for that, but I think that's a systemic across the board problem in Detroit. Also, I do want to point out, because I feel like this is going to be a big thing to talk about. The Miami Heat are currently winning by almost 20 points. It's the fourth quarter. The Philadelphia 76ers look damn near lifeless. And even Nick Scott just tweeted, "This is embarrassing."
Doc Rivers about to be out of here soon. Jesus, crazy.
God, they got 63 points in the fourth quarter.
You can't have that, bro. Yeah, they about to re-up on.
And I know Joel's injured. I know it's a knee and a thumb and a face, but like
it wouldn't have mattered.
James Harden's taking 8 shots this game, bro.
But guys, this team's gonna win the finals. Like they got James Harden. That's the finals team. Lock it, bro.
That is insane. I didn't care for the Sixers, but I didn't expect this kind of performance. That is embarrassing.
Yeah. This is embarrassing, dog.
Kool-Aid, I'm just glad to know. Kool-Aid, I'm just glad to know that you're always there to laugh at wwhatever jokes I made or whatever dumb things I say.
I've been hearing it, man. Strus, man. Max Strus.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Max Strus, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. That's their offense tonight. With a little dash of Tyler Hero. Yeah, it's literally not like an impressive game. Like it's just, man, like
the defense.
At least PJ Tucker got 29 minutes and 8 points. So that means he was in that middle, clogging up the paint, throwing a few elbows, putting a knee to the thigh. You already know it, man. That's the type of stuff that makes a difference. If I'm James Harden, it's only gonna take 2 of those from PJ Tucker till I'm like, you know what, I'm done with this game, bro. I'm done. We down 20. I'm good.
That white flag out,
twisting it around too.
It's a bad matchup. So real quick, has anybody's brackets changed? Anybody?
Let's do that. Let's look at our brackets that we did. For some of us that were a part of the From Half Court Bracket Challenge.
I would rather not.
Like Kool-Aid's like, keep my bracket out your mouth.
Oh man.
Keep my bracket out your effing mouth.
Yes.
I was high on Golden State on my bracket. After what they just did last night, I'm terrified right now.
Man.
I'm terrified of what I just saw.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Golden State to me just, I don't know. And it's not over. It's not over.
Yeah,
but Golden State, something just seemed to be off with them, uncharacteristic of them as to how they normally look when they're championship level teams. I don't know what it is. They still look great, but something appears to be different.
I think one of the things is that you're just seeing, first of all, how young this team is. Like just outside of Steph, Clay, and Draymond, like a lot of these guys weren't a part of those playoff teams that did win the championship and that did as much as they.
I agree with that. But even the guys who are there though, Sean, I'm looking at Clay. Clay doesn't quite look. And he's still recovering.
He's been off,
He just doesn't. He's not able to stay in front of guys like we know how he usually able to do. And I'm looking at Draymond Green. Draymond Green from those championship teams shot the ball some.
Right.
He's not looking to shoot the ball at all. He's looking like the Killian Hayes version of Golden State over there, just looking to distribute. You know, so that's not a bad thing, but he still needs to keep keep it honest. But it just looked different to me. I don't know.
So the first place bracket. First of all, Deuce, you are tied for first with my buddy Robert.
Yes,
and the crazy thing about my buddy Robert is that he literally he's still learning basketball. In his bracket, he has the Grizzlies and the Celtics, which I called him crazy for. But I mean, it's still gonna be wrong because I mean, with everything that we're seeing with Jabari, we got Deuce. He had Phoenix and Milwaukee in 7. You had a Western Conference Finals of Memphis and Phoenix and Milwaukee and Miami. So very good, very good. I got to find Kool-Aid's in here. There's a guy in here that's Sean's mom, and Sean's mom's not doing as well as me, so that's good to know. I know who that is too. I just got to point that out. I don't see you in here unless Kool-Aid. Are you not in here under your name Kool-Aid? You might be like NBA fan, but there's some there's not some bad brackets in here. I mean, like we're doing okay for the most part, but
mine's
overall,
one of the good ones.
I'm in third place. What's that?
So mine are one of the good ones that are unidentified.
Anonymous.
Oh yeah, there you go. Good save. Good save.
Sean, you went there. Hey, Sean, who'd you have? Who'd you have winning it all?
All right, I had Phoenix winning it all, and then I had them playing Milwaukee as well in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think like the couple things I got wrong. So looking right here, like some of the things I missed. I had Golden State beating Denver in 6 when they beat them in 5. I had Memphis beating Minnesota in 5 when they beat them in 6. Like just little stuff like that. Like I haven't missed a series yet. I just didn't get all the games right, and as far as how long it actually took. So. Yeah, but otherwise,
we didn't get a chance to ask Eric. Who did you have, bro? Who did you have?
Coming out for the championship? I mean, I liked Golden State. I liked them against Milwaukee to come out. This was before Chris Middleton got hurt. Giannis had been taking it up another level. Drew Holiday. I liked the depth of that team. Bobby Portis. And I really liked what Golden State was doing. I thought that they were just hitting a different stride than everybody else. And what scared me about Phoenix was they can't ever stay healthy. Like it always seems like Chris Paul and Devin Booker they stay dinged up. So if they're healthy, I won't be surprised if they get there. But I just like Golden State. I liked Golden State before last night, so I'm gonna stick with them though. You know what
the thing that's scary though is that Phoenix has dealt with so much health crap. They literally missed Chris Paul for the second half of the season. They missed Devin Booker for the majority of the first round.
Yep.
He's back and he's just fine. And now Chris Paul came back, didn't miss a single beat. I mean, it was a thumb injury, so like I kind of expected that, but like still, it's like this team like
well-oiled machine.
It's like the freaking Terminator. You shoot one limb off, they get another one, and they're ready to go. Like
Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson's playing good off the bench. Campaign, like they're really putting it together.
Yeah. They have a lot of guys.
Yo, what a resurgence.
Yeah,
right.
To me, that's why what Killian Hayes to like study. Like, if the fans temper expectations, that's who we want Killian to be. Like, he doesn't have to be a superstar or a star at this point. If he's campaign, that's a win.
I'll say, man, even if he's a Jose Alvarado, where he's just a freaking defensive dog, I am fine with that, man. He just needs to. Like, again, he just needs to be, and again, like, people just need to, like,
that confidence.
It's not that Killian needs to be this amazing offensive scorer. Everyone that said he was James Harden, shut the up. You saw him do a step back one time in a clip back when he was in France. It's like, oh my God, it's James Harden.
Hey, man, don't be hating on French James.
I'm not.
Hey, I like that.
He's left-handed.
James
Harden, man.
That lefty touch on it.
Look, bro, give him 2 more years. He's gonna be hitting that step back lefty.
Like, it's like all a guy needs to do is like show that he's left-handed. Like, he just picks up a pencil, writing with like
James Harden.
Guys, is that James Harden? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
there's a white guy with a beard.
Yeah,
right.
Boy, is he left-handed though? That's the question.
There it is.
But yeah, man, it's like it's never the question of like, you know, again, like he doesn't need to be this like amazing NBA offensive player. He just needs to be NBA level. And if he keeps growing on the defensive end, if he could be an all-world defensive type player, knock down a 3-point shot if need be, and then also go out and do everything else and just not be a liability.
Yes.
Then at that point,
he's almost there.
Yeah, he is. He's not far off.
His defense is a plus, man. He's not sitting out there as necessarily a liability. Even on offense, you know, he's I'm doing rap battle now.
You got bars?
I got some bars of soap. Maybe I can go get you. But on the microphone, I don't know about that.
Ricky's calling you
got
out,
some
man.
Stuff in the works too, man. But no, he is not too far off, yo. He's not too far off.
I mean, I might not be able to do bars, but like, well, that's not it.
Whoa.
That wasn't it. I don't know what that is. What's wrong with my system here, man?
Off the rails. Off the rails.
Off the rails real quick. What's going on?
Eric's face.
That was supposed to be.
I'm like, did he mean to do that? I know he know. No way.
Eric's face.
What's wrong with my freaking thing, man? This is broken. I'm like upset right now.
Hey, Eric, was like that was your real voice. Like,
where did this helium just come from, bro?
Where did the balloon come from? Right.
My elf and the chipmunk. What's going on here?
What's going on, bro?
Man.
Oh
that caught me slipping, bro.
That caught me slipping. I was expecting to do my auto tune, and I freaking sound like Alvin the Chipmunk, dude.
Get that T-Pain on,
bro. I felt like I felt like my puberty went back 100 years. You think you're getting caught off guard? My God.
I got tears in my eyes.
Never again.
That was great.
Oh man, just leave him alone.
Oh my God.
Do not touch.
Yeah. The people in the chat, like people, Sean, pass it, dog. No, I'm gonna make it work. Screw you.
I'm so up at this, yo.
That was it.
Oh my goodness.
What the heck?
Nope, that wasn't it either.
I'm gonna play with this off stream.
Abort,
man.
You'll get it by the lottery. It's okay. Just get it by the lottery.
I'll get it by the lottery when I'm in person and I can't have my attitude with me, man.
Right.
Dang it. Oh my gosh.
Bro,
anyway.
the comments are cracking me up, dog.
Oh man. On that note,
It says sound like a bucket baby. I'm literally crying, dog. You got me
Ricky's killing him.
I wish that you were
dog, I'm literally crying.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
wasn't ready for that,
bro.
ladies and gentlemen, this is just like that's exactly.
Oh man.
Oh my, Yeah. This is not how it's. This is
really
all
look
messed
forward
up
to
now.
Table
But
Talk.
guys, ladies and gentlemen, this has been
man.
this. What better way to end this, man? I can't think of one. Oh my God!
right.
Tune in next week for the lottery.
Yeah, hey guys.
Tuesday. Oh my goodness.
Maybe by next week I'll be a real boy and we'll actually be ready to go. But tune into the draft lottery, man. We'll be on Woodward Sports. You're gonna want to check that out. Be there, ready to go, because we're gonna be live for the entire draft lottery special. Of course, you can follow myself on Twitter at Sean Halfcourt. You can follow Kool-Aid at Detroit Kool-Aid. You can follow Eric Vincent at I Am Eric Vincent. And then we got Downtown Deuce as well. I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in, watching. Support Woodward Pistons. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter. If you don't do that, then go.
Shout out
yourself.
to the crew, man. Shout out to the crew too, man. King, Lexi, Jeff.
Yeah.
Pistons Talk, Easy, man. Everybody.
Gang,
Who else,
gang.
Sean?
Everybody.
Yeah, absolutely,
Everybody,
man.
We'll
Yeah,
support
shout out
y'all
to everybody,
too,
man.
for being here.
Thank you to the comments, man. Y'all are cracking us up right now. My
Oh
gosh.
my gosh.
I
That's
always have more fun between us and y'all. For real.
Yeah.
oh, don't you worry, Ricky, whether people like it or not, I ain't changing, man. Oh my gosh.
Even if my voice sounds like this, I'm not
There it
changing.
is. He just rolled with it that time. I
Oh,
know.
Love your old Sean.
Yeah.
No, I want Chet now.
Oh my. That's gonna be a
No
Preteen voice.
You in that draft chat now. You've ruined
Right,
it.
yeah, now
Yeah,
it's done.
correct.
Now it's
Correct.
done.
You be working dark though.
No. Let's sign off before
I
you
will
start
never
talking about
unhear
my
that.
God,
Take
All
his
right,
mic.
everybody,
Plug
that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time here at Woodward Pistons, man. Keep tuning in.
Hey.
Catch y'all later.
Yeah.